game actors are theatre actors or TV actors or film actors, it's all the same stuff, different technicalities, but the process is the same. Being a mocap actor is the same as being a TV actor, maybe not using your voice, but the performance is the same. It comes from the same place. So I was like, okay, I've got to think of something to start off with a bit of a bang. So I thought, I'll just do ape whip. I'll jump off the stage. I'll just interact with the crowd if they let me. I'll be fine. So I spoke to the camera guy and said, by the way, just so you know, might do something a bit weird, just go with it. By all standards of new podcasts, we are technically a success.
We are sailing the last tide. Come find me!
So, Neil, thank you for squeezing us into your
I like the
busy
fact
schedule
you and I
today.
meet up in strange places.
Yeah.
Last time an arcade, now it's an alleyway. Very beautiful alleyway. But
yeah, what next? Where
next?
We'll be in a zoo. That'd be fun. So, tell me about Starfinder Afterlight. How did you kind of first hear about it and get involved?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm really blessed and very honoured that I got asked as an introduction with ICO partners who are amazing to Epic Tellers, who are an amazing dev team, super experienced, very ambitious in the right possible way, and also very friendly and very positive to performance and developers and anti-AI and all the rest of that stuff. So it's been a really wonderful experience. I was introduced to them as a possible director. We had a great chat. We talked about the project, talked about working with each other, got to know each other a bit better, and then very gratefully they asked me to join as a director.
And I was speaking to, before I get the names wrong, Rickard and Albert, yes, on Zoom the other day.
Oh, they're lovely to work
They're
with.
so lovely, and they kind of said that they were so glad to have you, and you would kind of become something of a mentor figure.
Oh, that's
to
very
them.
kind of it. I didn't realise that. That's
Yeah,
really nice.
that's what they said. It was so nice.
I'm trying to also be very conscious of understanding the vision as well. We've had a lot of really cool ideas together. They've been very, very great at allowing actors and allowing myself to add in organic ideas without messing too much with their vision, because ultimately the game is their vision, and we want to be able to support that and enhance that without getting in the way of it too much. But they're so easy to work with. They're really lovely people as well, and genuinely great developers to work with. I think that very much it feels very similar to how my experience with Larian was actually, although this is a very different game. But that sense of really putting performance, really putting quality for the players first above too much about the back end, I think is a really important way of making games. That you shouldn't be so focused on the profits you're going to make. It's really about what is the best game that we can afford to make, and who do we get the best people to try and join us in the cast and on their side, the developers, to make a really fun experience for people.
Nice. They also mentioned that if Larian and Baldur's Gate was a Ferrari, that Epic Tellers is more of a bicycle. What's the analogy?
Or a Volvo.
That's nice.
I think a bicycle, but a really nice bicycle. Yeah, I mean, definitely, this is definitely an indie game with big aspirations. The great thing is I came to it when it was fully funded. We've done a Kickstarter recently, not because it needed funding, which is great, but actually because we want to extend the ambitions that they had initially, and that I brought along obviously with them as well, to really create again the best version of what this can be. And so it's really nice. It was overwhelming. I think we hit like 600% of our target within 48 hours or something mad, which is lovely that so many people love the system of Starfinder, are big fans of Paizo. I always pronounce it Paizo. I'm so sorry, Paizo, mispronunciation. But also they love the genre and they're really excited to see this. But also that because the game is fully funded, there is no risk that people donating, as happens with Kickstarters and crowdfunding, sometimes don't always get what they paid for. So I think this is great that we already come with that safety of going, the game is going to get made no matter what. Yeah. Now we get to do some even more cooler things than we did before.
Yeah. I was looking through the Kickstarter, which I think was closing.
Kickstarter still going, folks.
Still going.
If you want to help out, if you want to join, check it out.
Yeah. It was like closing in on 500,000 or something the last time I was looking at it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And they've got, I was saying to the guys, it's amazing because you can see on the Kickstarter how much extra work you've made for yourselves by doing this. It's
wow,
now you've unlocked this, now you've unlocked that.
The team were like the Barcelona Game Festival, I think it was, and I think they were a bit overwhelmed in the best possible way. I couldn't even get hold of them for like 4 days. They were just trying to deal with that. It was great, and they put in so much effort and work to do it well. And again, transparency is a big thing for me and for them too. And being honest and keeping ourselves honest is really important, I think, because I think then players, the audience, will see that and then see the love and the care that goes into the performances, but also the game.
Awesome, and it must be a fun one for you to get involved, because they were telling me they want people to kind of care deeply about the characters and build, relationships, good or bad, the whole kind of gamut. That must be a fun thing for you to have, like, such a broad.
It's really nice also to see how much impetus and also support they're giving the actors. The actors have come up with some brilliant ideas, brilliant lines, which won't necessarily always make it into the final game, but at the same time, the fact that they're open to it, so that the actors get to live and breathe the characters, very much in the same way that we experienced with Larian, actually. That we got to take a little bit of ownership, maybe not changing the lines because the writing was so good, but being able to add ideas, flair, personal quirks and things like that. It's very liberating for actors. I really urge new developers, when they're approaching actors and performance, to think about allowing the space for actors to step forward and live the character and offer up as well.
Awesome. And tell me a little bit about the cast that you've assembled. There's some great names in there. The ones I can talk
to you about, so there are more coming, which is cool. None of which I will fight you to the death about. So we've got the wonderful Einel Tomlinson, who's unbelievably funny, and a brilliant actor as well. He's been around for a long time. A lot of the notable stuff he's done outside of games, like Horrible Histories. He's one of the main characters for that, one of the main performers in that. Also Final Fantasy he was involved with as well. And he's a brilliant resource. He's such a consummate professional and incredibly funny. Really fun to work with. Fred Taddiscore, who's just a legend, who's been in pretty much everything. He was Soren in Mass Effect, as well as in Lower Decks, who plays the security chief, who's just brilliant. He is a huge, true, beautiful chameleon, a brilliant person to work with, and a very safe pair of hands to take risks with. Yeah. We also have Melissa Medina, who's fantastically talented, and James Alexander, and Carolina Ravassa we can now talk about as well, who's joining us as the mysterious role of Carly. Yes, mystery. I know.
And what's it like?
Stop bearing me down with your blue eyes. I'll just tell you nothing.
Tell me everything.
No.
What's it like directing? After you've been doing the podcast together, so you're like.
Einel and I've been friends for years. So I met him actually back in, I think it was 2000. 17, 18, something like that, when he came on one of the workshops I did at the Imaginarium. And there was just something about him. I remember the day that he sat down and we started working together in the volume for those 2 days. He just brought ideas that I just didn't even see coming. They were just really, really interesting. And I was just fascinated by him as a person. And then slowly, bit by bit, we got to know each other as friends. And now we do the podcast. It's like working with a family. It's brilliant. He's an amazing person. He really is.
How is the podcast stuff going?
It's going well. Yeah, we're doing very well. By all standards of new podcasts, we are technically a success. I really want to grow it more. Dungeons & Dragons dramas on Patreon. So patreon.com/D3pod. Thank you. It's wonderful. We need the support to be able to grow it. We do offer it out for free as well on Spotify for people that can't afford it, which we completely understand as well. So we want to be fair to people that may have really tight budgets and just can't afford that as a luxury. But it's been going brilliantly, and the chemistry is insane. We didn't know how it was going to work. The first two episodes we did very much like, if this doesn't work, it'll never see light of day kind of feel. And it was just so funny. Everybody brings their own individual voice to it. Everybody gels so well. And we have this amazing chemistry between everybody without really having to push for it too hard. We're now up to, I think we've just finished recording episode 14. Released as episode 11 is going to be on this Saturday, tomorrow I think, which is bonus content. And it's just been a wonderfully creative, fun thing to do. We now work with Pit Stop Productions for our studio, which is great, and we've got a lot more rewards and bonus stuff coming for Patreon people, so it's been great. Yeah, it's been a success. Yeah, I'm very happy. It's been mad, I mean, it's stupid. But it's been a great success. Yeah, we're very happy.
This feels like a weird thing to pull out.
Sure,
but,
do it.
I particularly enjoyed.
It's a party trick.
No, but the bit when there was a fly in the studio.
That was real. That was not a stunt fly.
That
wasn't a figment of our imagination. This fly was ginormous. It was like the size of a conker. And it was just tormenting us. It was like doing things like landing on people's microphones deliberately, I feel. It had very little fear of us. And at some point I realized the only way to get rid of it is to duel it. So I did try a few bad punches and kicks, and I think you got the message. I think I won. I think we won. We won.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Deb basically helped us get it out. But again, it was like we just thought, well, we can edit all of that out or keep 12 minutes of chaos. And so we always follow the fun and follow the chaos. Yeah.
Absolutely. And What was it like? I saw you and Dev and a load of the other Baldur's Gate people were off in LA for the Funko stuff.
Yeah,
recently.
Funko Pops.
So fun.
That was really fun. I feel that I'm not a good person to do the TikTok trends with. I get a little self-conscious doing TikTok trends because I feel like such a dork because I'm a geek, and I think it just makes me feel like I'm back at school trying to be cool and not feeling very cool. And they do it so like Dev and Jen and everybody do it so effortlessly. And Theo's just the master of cool anyway. I always feel like the dorky kid at the back going,
And Neil.
Cool, and Neil. Yeah, you know, it's like a TV show with kids. Like it'll be here's the gang and Neil, and like we're popping through like, some stupid. I don't know. The analogy has lost me, but the idea, I think I just feel really dorky doing them. So that was interesting. But the experience was great. And I've got like a few Funkos now. I have a tiny sliver of ownership of Vecno alongside Matt Mercer, I believe, who's far better than I am at that role thing. But we also, Nemesis is another Funko Pop, and also now Astarion, which is wonderful. So, and the Funko people are great. They're really lovely. I love Funkos as a concept. There's just weird little voodoo dolls. They're great. And to be immortalized having a role immortalized as a plastic figurine with a massive head, yeah. So it's wicked.
Yeah, it must be amazing seeing yourself in.
It's weird. It's very strange. I mean, you know, there's a separation of reality a little bit, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
This has just reminded me, I forgot to bring them. I've got the Astarion Magic the Gathering cards, and
They're great. They're really good. I met Ben Hill, who I think made most of the art for them.
Oh, nice.
1 second, just double checking. Yeah, good. I met Ben Hill, who does the art for them, who's super talented, very sweet, quiet man, very nice person, and they're just brilliant. I think the ideas of the Magic the Gathering, like taking all these different genres and blending it together, is really neat, and I really like it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Nice.
I will sign it next time if you wish. It'll double in value.
I thought it'd be funny just to show you, but obviously you've already seen them.
I've seen 1,000.
Hey, what do people bring to you the most at like signings and things?
Those things actually. There's a lot of fan art prints they bring. Funko Pops now, obviously, and sometimes just bizarre requests to. A lot of tattoos, which I always tell them I can neither condone nor really support their idea of getting a tattoo. Because I'm a bad dude. I doodle, but it's bad. Like I don't think they're very good. So I appreciate the fact that people are interested in my work enough to want to tattoo it, which is a bit nice. I really like the Astarion tattoos that people come up with because they're beautifully creative. I have seen a lot of people do the life-size ritual tattoo, which that's wild. That's like a big thing, and I understand the significance of that as well. So there's a lot of beauty that comes through these things of meeting people, hearing their stories, and realizing that although it's not, I didn't do this myself. It was many people, you know, Larian mainly, that created this very beautiful experience for everybody. But I got to help, and I get to hear their feedback and hear their experiences and talk to them, and probably sometimes give them a hug. You know, a lot of people tend to experience this and have a release of sorts, which is an amazing thing to experience as a human being. Again, like not by design. Like, you know, I wasn't trying to be a person that was in that situation, but the fact that I am in that situation alongside all of the cast, it's a very honourable, wonderful thing to experience, that I get to help and talk to people and make them feel maybe less alone or what have you. Yeah.
I saw we sat down and watched your TED Talk the other night.
Oh yeah, I was nervous about that. Yeah, it was one of the few times I've been on stage nervous. Because it wasn't, obviously I'm quite a private person in many ways. I talk about the work a lot, I talk about my work a lot, but this was edging towards getting very, very close to some aspects of me that I don't really talk very often about. So I was nervous, yeah, it was kind of exciting because I haven't been nervous like that for a long time. I enjoyed it. It was a very interesting experience, yeah. Although the ape thing I made as a last minute idea.
I was going to ask about that.
Oh man, it was the night before. The night before I was like, I know that this is interesting to me. I feel this may be a very boring talk for other people. Like, I don't think this is a very exciting talk to talk about, or much point to it. I think there's people have told me there has been a point to it. People have liked it, but it's obviously as you, the person, you lose perspective of that. So I was like, okay, I've got to think of something to start off with a bit of a bang. So I thought, I'll just do ape whip. I'll jump off the stage. I'll just interact with the crowd if they let me. I'll be fine. So I spoke to the camera guy and said, by the way, just so you know, might do something a bit weird, just go with it. So they put the lights up and everything, which was very sweet of them. So yeah, I really wasn't sure if I was going to get kicked out at that point or not. Yeah, it was interesting. Or fall over or something.
Yeah, I love right at the end of that bit, you're like kind of you've got your hand out to the woman in the front row.
Yeah.
How long was he going to hold it there?
Yeah. I wasn't breaking. I was like, okay, we're locked in. Let's go. We're gonna be here the whole time. Let's go.
This is the talk.
Time has started. Let's go. The other thing as well is just it's a timer, which I'm not used to. Too much of a timer. It's a very interesting experience of trying to convey the story, knowing that you have to keep the energy going, knowing that there is a point to which you have to round it up. You know, it's pretty tough to get that. I think I nailed it on just under 15, so I was pretty happy with it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was like, because obviously I've spoken to you a few times, I've watched a lot of other stuff that you've done. I feel like I'd heard some chunks of the story before, but to hear it all from your perspective as like a narrative all the way through, I thought was great.
I wanted to be honest about it as well, because you know there were very low parts of my life as an actor, as well as a person, that I felt really very lost, and I kind of really wished at the time, although I'm grateful that I didn't really have somebody mentoring me through that moment. I found it by chance. I made a lot of mistakes, some mistakes that actually changed me for the better. That I actually kind of glad that I did my own path in the end. Looking back, I would have saved myself a lot of trouble if I'd known what I know now 20, 30 years ago. That would have been different. But then would I have been the same person? Would I have been, you know, would I have the values that I hold dear to me now? Or would I have been a bit more arrogant and more, you know, whatever? So, yeah, there's a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like so important to be honest, because like there's so much, there's not a huge amount of transparency around like, you know, people's financial situations.
Yeah,
being like, the situation was this, it was bad.
Yeah, there's a very famous case of Gary Coleman, who was so famous in the 80s. He was a very short African-American actor, very funny, brilliant actor, really, comedian really. And he was huge in the 80s, huge. And then suddenly his career just dropped out. And there's like all this footage of him being a security guard in a parking place. And, you know, a lot of ridicule. I remember thinking as a younger actor, why are they ridiculing you? I mean, it might be surprising to them because they've seen him on television and now they see him in a real job. But dude, this is the reality of being an actor. Why aren't people talking about this a lot? I mean, obviously now it's a bit different. People, I think, are more forthcoming about the trials and tribulations. But for a long time, nobody ever talked about the heavy side, the dark side, the dark side of the force, the dark side of the industry, or the dark side of simply trying to be an artist, of paying bills, of struggling, all that kind of stuff. So I think it was, I thought I'd be honest about it and just say, well, this is the reality, this is what happened to me. You know?
It must be cool to now be in a position where, on a project like Starfinder, you can actively be out there, you know, helping to fundraise to get more actors into this project.
Absolutely.
Is that something you particularly wanted to do? Like, we can bring more people on this, we can grow this?
I've always people championed me at the beginning of my career. Without them, the Imaginarium, huge, great, amazing studio. I did a lot of work early on with them. They taught me. I was about to swear. They taught me a lot. Matt Brown, who's the head of it, is a friend, and I love him dearly, and he's amazing. Audio Motion, when Brian Mitchell and Stacey Boiselle used to run it, and Sarah Whiting, they gave me so much work to begin with. Without them, I wouldn't have a career. Without the Imaginarium, I wouldn't have got onto bigger projects. Even Quantic Dream, you know, Square Enix as well. Like all these amazing people and companies from all these different places. Steve Kniebly, Larian, you know, all these people have helped me have the career and experience that I have now. I'm just glad that I'd gone through so much stupidity, hardship, experiences beforehand, that I didn't screw it up by making silly mistakes or getting too much of an ego about it, but just getting on with the work and being happy and joyful and ultimately helping other people. Because unless you pay it forward, that's the role of an artist, I think. You have to be in service to the community and you have to pay knowledge and pay support forwards. You shouldn't harbour that and gatekeep it, because I think it's just stupid really to do.
And it's like, I think it's one of those, like, with great power comes great responsibility kind of thing. If you have the power to create...
If you have to go there, why not? No, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know about my power. I definitely think, I've definitely noticed, obviously, I have a bit of a platform, which is great. That's why the Pixel Pack, you know, which we're going to start doing some mentorship stuff with it. We've got some plans to develop it. We're going to try and, you know, do more with that. Obviously, it's a little tricky with funding for that. It's more of a personal thing than anything else. And we want to keep it as honest as we can. So with things like that, is very much about, listen, game actors are theatre actors, or TV actors, or film actors. It's all the same stuff, different technicalities, but the process is the same. Being a mocap actor is the same as being a TV actor, maybe not using your voice, but the performance is the same. It comes from the same place, requires the same dedication, the same training, the same hardships sometimes, the same luck, the same readiness to be lucky. All that stuff is the same. So if I do nothing else in this industry, the one thing I really want to do is champion actors so that we don't get shuffled off and we don't get marginalized. We get respected for all the work that we bring, and ultimately make people as happy as I can. Yeah.
And I think it's good for players as well to have now more of the characters in this game are going to be voiced, because it adds so much.
Something I've noticed in the last 5 years, since Resident Evil Village, actually, I would say, because of the pandemic and the way that happened, that suddenly people got very interested in the cast in Village. It was a huge success, like a runaway success, when nobody thought it was going to be a big deal. I think we've suddenly started seeing people go, oh, that actor was in this game. I'm going to buy that game because my favorite actor from this thing was in it. Or these actors, I really respect the performance they did. I'm curious about what they're doing next. I'll find out about the back catalogue of games they've done. People have played games that I've done 10, 15 years ago because they found out I was in it. So it's a very interesting time that actors can now offer that up to people. I think it's great that a lot of developers are seizing that opportunity to work with actors closer, to be able to use them at conventions, panels, which is great for actors. You know, they get kind of residual model in sense with that, and also publicity is there to help the game sell. And actors are great at selling things. You know, we're great about championing passionately the projects that we get to work on. And developers, by and large, are amazing people. So it's a really happy marriage, I think. Wow, that went off a little of a tangent there. Sorry. Right, pigeon. Sorry.
But I started a
squirrel. Sorry.
I started a new, very famous AAA game yesterday that's completely not voice acted or acted, and I was like, and you miss it. It's like when you go up to an NPC, just the text comes up and nothing. It's like someone could have breathed some life into that.
I mean, a lot of again, it's depends on the budget, you know.
Yeah.
So Starfinder's great because we've got this aspiration to try and now do as many lines as possible, if not the entire game. Considering it's an indie game, that's a huge deal. I think it's not always possible though. I mean, I remember Fallout 1 and 2, they were amazing games. They had no speech in it a little bit. And then Fallout 2, they had a slightly bigger budget, so they would seed it every now and again with these little character interviews, which were kind of cool. If you can do it, you should. If you can't do it, budget-wise, it's okay. I think AAAs don't have much of a leg to stand on when they say we can't do voice work or have your mocap, but that's their business. I'd always push for it. I think the immersion is the thing. You want to feel like you're in that world, regardless of whether it's like Battlefield or whether it's like Baldur's Gate. You want to feel a part connected to that world. The gameplay is a big thing, but I always think now that story is also on the same level as gameplay. And if you can get that immersion right, you make the best experience possible. Red Dead, perfect example of how it is the ultimate cowboy game. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think, is the ultimate cowboy game, and it's just glorious. It's just amazing to go around as a cowboy, And without the work of Roger Clark and Rob and everybody else, and Mika and everybody else that were involved in it, it wouldn't be the same thing. Cyberpunk, perfect example of world building. They got it right. Phantom Liberty is so good. And it made the game into the game that it was always going to be. It was obviously, I felt sorry for them, it took a long time to get there, but they did it, and they applied themselves, and they focused on the players first. And a lot of that was performance immersion and just how cool that world is. And it is one of the all-time great games.
Nice. And if you could summarise Starfinder.
Good luck, everybody, especially Neil Newbon. So Starfinder is a isometric role-play game set in the world of Paizo's amazing Starfinder 2E edition rule set. If you don't know what Starfinder is, that is a spiritual successor to Pathfinder, which is a spin-off of itself from Dungeons & Dragons, but it's not the same thing. It is a high-concept fantasy sci-fi drama. I actually think of Starfinder as a bit of a Western. But it's a fantastic role-play system, and you get to live out your life as heroes fighting some unknown thing to maybe save the universe, maybe. Or just have snacks, one of the two. It's a really brilliant experience. I've started playing a little bit of the tester, and it's going to get there for sure. And I just really hope people have a wonderful experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me in this alleyway today.
Next time, I think we should do scuba diving.
That would be great.
Get one of those helmets, which just blows air just every now and again.
Or we could send messages to each other.
Yeah, we can send messages. We just write the whole thing on messages. We'll do classic scuba diving. That'd be great. Yeah.
Or we could just subtitle anything underneath. Yeah, I'll put some. You'd love that, right?
That we should do a roller coaster. One of the two.
Oh, I said that earlier.
We should do a roller coaster. I fear nothing. It's great. All right, I gotta go catch a train.
Catch you later.